Here we are, day 21 of my 30-day health challenge, and I did not start early this morning by sharing a video of me sitting up in bed and taking my numbers from bed because I slept in, which was a little unusual for me, and then the day just needed to get rolling. So I did take my waking glucose. That was 83. Yesterday's waking glucose was 77, as was the day before. Yesterday's glucose, I suspect, was a little higher than the 277s that I had in the other two mornings. Probably it was higher because of the two meals that I had yesterday, one of which had some processed foods in it, of fats, processed sugar. It was wonderful though, and I don't regret it. I was meeting with some friends and we had a wonderful 4.5 hour lunch together. So anyway, that was my morning fasting glucose, 83. Here it is, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I just look up and the time on the computer clock says 2 o'clock. So I got a bunch of chores done that I needed to do, and I feel a little more settled. Even though I was home all day yet, well, not home yet. Even though yesterday was my first day home, I wasn't home. I was out. And so today is my first day to really get to be at home and start to settle in. So I've been taking care of chores. And one of them will be to go out in a little bit and do some grocery shopping so that I can make some decent meals. I did manage to put together a good meal the first night I was home, just because I keep a well-stocked pantry and freezer, and there were some cheese slices in the fridge that my husband or my son had purchased, so I was able to make them a nice dinner of just cheese omelets and roasted baby potatoes that I did in the air fryer. Two things that I know my guys really like, and then a salad. So tonight I don't have to make dinner because we have a ministry dinner out, but that poses a food challenge for me. I have no idea what's going to be served at this big gathering, but I can be pretty confident that it's not going to fit in with fuel separating principles, and there's going to be dessert again involved. Not that I ever shy away from dessert, I don't, but I think before I go to this ministry dinner, I'm going to preload with protein and greens and just lay as good a foundation as I can. So maybe some raw carrots and make a greens drink. I have some frozen greens in the refrigerator. I shared a long time ago in an old video about not wasting your greens. Throw them in the freezer and then blend them up to make greens drinks with. So I will link that in the description box about the greens drink idea. And so if I preload with protein, well, let's back up. Let me get the book and I'll show you just a second. So I have referenced Jessie and Chauspé a number of times in this series of videos, the Glucose Goddess. She's written this book, The Glucose Revolution. And what she's teaching is that we can help our glucose health by eating food in a certain order, trying to always lay down a foundation of a veggie starter. So we have the fiber from the vegetables, and then having protein, and also having more vegetables after that. Just filling up with lots of vegetables in our meals. And then if we want to enjoy the carbohydrates and the starches and the sweets, go ahead and that's when you would have those things. After you laid a good foundation of fiber from the veggies, protein, and go ahead and have the sweets and treats and, you know, carbohydrates that you want. I will include a link to one of Jessie's podcast appearances and a link to her book, The Glucose Revolution, in the description box. But she's been very helpful for me to listen to and put into practice some of her, what she calls hacks. One of the things she likes to say is put clothes, don't eat naked carbohydrates. Put clothes on your carbohydrates. So if I can fit it in the description box, I'll list her hacks. If not, I'll just point you to her website where you can find her list of hacks. Anyway, I'm going to practice those hacks before I go to this ministry dinner. I'm starting to get hungry, so that's what caused me to go ahead and start this video up and make sure I recorded my glucose after I get a hunger signal, because that's one of the main principles of data-driven fasting is if you're hungry, test your glucose and see what it says, whether you need to fuel and how you might fuel to your best advantage. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera around and let you see my second number of the day. The last time I took it was my morning fasting glucose, which was an 83. Okay, pull out test strips. I'm just going to hold on to them. 1, 2, 3. And the meter. Oops, I need a different screen. Okay. So I can use the Dario app. Allow. Insert a new test strip. Get a drop of blood. And touch it to the end of the pipette end that will suck up the blood. And get another drop of blood. 82. Okay. Throw that away. Another one. Make sure my numbers agree with each other. Another drop of blood. 79. Okay. I like that number better than the 82, but they need to be within 3 digits of each other, whatever the number is. So let's do another drop of blood. And in case they're not in agreement, get ready for another. Okay, so 88. We're still not there. Let's look. Okay, throw that away. One more. Can we have 3 numbers that confirm each other? Or 2 numbers that confirm each other? 81. All right, so if I go to the logbook, and I can see 79 and 81 are good, and the 81 and 82 confirm each other. So I'm going to go with the 81, and now I'm going to put that into the Data-Driven Fasting app. All right, let's see if I can just go ahead and shift the camera up a little bit so it's not so awkward. Okay, so Data-Driven Fasting app. Go to track glucose before meal and 81, which is actually, unless my trigger has dropped and I haven't noticed it, that's my trigger number too. And I'm only slightly hungry, so I'm going to enter 2 and hit record. And it says, congratulations, your blood glucose is close enough to your personal trigger. It's right on the money with my trigger. Time to eat a nutritious meal. Close that. And, oh, my weight this morning, I didn't share that with you. 138.6. Let me just double check. Yeah, 138.6. And yesterday it was 138.4. So I don't have a big hit from yesterday's 2 meals and that really great dessert we had. Okay, back to the app. All right, so there's nothing more to share with you from there. I don't think you need to hear me read off to you how to get the DDF app on your phone. We'll just pass on that right now. But that tells me that was a message I saw yesterday. So I think sometime today this daily lesson will go ahead and update, and it just hasn't done it yet. So there I am on my numbers, sharing those with you. I'm about to walk out the door to go grocery shopping so I can fill this poor refrigerator back up. As I looked inside to see what I had before, double checking before running out, I saw there's this oven roasted turkey breast slices in here. And when I saw it, my mind immediately said, pickles, get pickles. That's how much my advanced planning amounts to today. I saw that sliced turkey and thought, okay, that sounds really good wrapped around some dill pickles. So I'm going to get dill pickles while I'm out. That will be part of my breaking fast meal before I head off to that ministry dinner. So anyway, out the door to get groceries and run an errand that needs to be taken care of. I'm sitting in the pharmacy drive-through line waiting to pick up my potassium. That was one of the errands that I have to run when I get groceries. I have a kidney disease that requires me to take potassium throughout the day. And while I'm sitting here, I was scrolling through Facebook, catching up on messages, and I saw something about Marty Kendall being at one of the conferences in Australia. So I did a screenshot, and I just want to talk about Marty for a second. I know I keep mentioning Marty Kendall, and he's an engineer. I'm just reading it to you. An engineer who seeks to optimize nutrition using a data-driven approach. He is the brains behind the popular Optimizing Nutrition blog. You really should go check it out. And website, and has developed Nutrient Optimizer and data-driven fasting to guide thousands of people on their journey towards nutritional optimization. I admire Marty Kendall. I'm grateful for having found his blog post over 3.5 years ago, where I learned about how to use a glucose meter as my fuel gauge. I also have been greatly impressed with him as I've gotten to know him. I reached out after the process of using a glucose meter as my fuel gauge helped me to peel off the menopausal weight and gave me hope again that I was in control of my weight instead of my body being in control. So just by using my glucose numbers as a gauge of what's going on inside, I manage my weight very easily. But as I've gotten to know Marty, through the times I've reached out to him and through the times he's interviewed me, I admire him that he is not trying to, he's not territorial about his information. He's also not stingy with it. It's available free all over the place if anybody has any gumption to learn for themselves. But a lot of people need community to do things with, and so it's wonderful that he has provided that through the data-driven fasting challenges, the data-driven macro challenges, data-driven micro challenges. Each one you learn a different thing in his challenges. But also, he's got a pricing system that if you sign up for more than, you do one, it's $37 or whatever, at least for the data-driven fasting. The macros and micros might be different for a 30-day challenge. But people often want to repeat these challenges because they just begin to learn and then the 30 days is over. And they enjoy the community that they find in learning with other people. So he's got this great pricing system so that, you're not just paying $37 over and over and over again. Not at all. And the other thing is, in the groups that I hang out in, I need to pull my car up just a second. In the groups that I hang out in, his data-driven groups or Nutrient Optimizer or Optimizing Nutrition, you can use all those words and find something on the internet or Facebook. But when I am sharing things in his groups, he doesn't get his feathers ruffled at all that I mentioned Trim Healthy Mama. As a matter of fact, when he listened to my interview with Jen Stevens and I was mentioning Trim Healthy Mama and trying to describe it a little bit, he wanted to know more because he realized that he is teaching something similar about fuel separating, that you have the best advantage when you either use proteins and fats or proteins and carbs, but don't have all three together. And so he wanted to interview me and ask more about Trim Healthy Mama. And he doesn't shut me down when I share Trim Healthy Mama stuff. He really doesn't care what diet people want to use. He has recipe books that accommodate any and all dietary flavors. So he has recipe books for vegans and for pescatarians and for carnivores and whatnot. I'm not sure he has one for carnivores. Maybe not. Okay. He's got 32 different cookbooks that address all different dietary styles and flavors and preferences. And I just appreciate he's not territorial and thinking that only his methods and ways can be discussed in his groups. It feels very friendly and open, and like he just really cares about people finding health and wellness through understanding what their glucose behavior is doing to their metabolic health. So I'm happy to promote Marty all over the place, and I just hope people discover his teaching, because his teaching has been very, very helpful to me, and I am extremely grateful for having found him. I just came out of the dinner event at church, and I was pleasantly surprised that someone chose a perfect menu. So it wasn't a food landmine, field mine, whatever. It wasn't a huge challenge at all, and even the dessert was it was small and appropriate, but you didn't feel like you were being cheated on something sweet to end the meal. So whoever did the dinner plan, it was wonderful, and I'm feeling very grateful. So I went to the dinner prepared, having had lots of vegetables, raw vegetables before I went, having protein, the turkey with the pickles, and so now I have my 45-minute drive home, but I can manage that. And the husband and I had to drive separately. He wasn't able to get home in time, so he just met me here. But I'm going to end day 21 of my 30-day health challenge here in the parking lot, and then when I get home I can just go to bed. It's already getting late. So this is the end of my day 21 of my 30-day health challenge, and I feel like it was a great and successful day. Oh, wait a minute. I need to take my glucose number. Let me do that. And that'll actually be kind of telling from what this dinner was as a post-meal number. Hold on a second. I'll just take the number and tell it to you. Not bad. 99. So, let's see. It is, what time is it right now? 8:37. Dinner was served at 6, and so I'd say that's a really good blood glucose a couple hours after eating. 99. Okay, now it's the end of day 21 of my 30-day health challenge, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 22.